Hey everyone, either welcome back or welcome to my channel. And in today's video, I want to talk about my neck stiffness in more detail. So, before we get into the video any further, let's roll the intro. Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ashley Stewart. So, 2018 was actually a pretty hard year for me, but it was also a pretty good year too. So, I completed my bachelor's degree in biochemistry, but at the same time, I was also diagnosed with a rare condition called idiopathic intracranial hypertension, or IIH. Some of you may also know this by its older name called pseudotumor cerebri. So, if you're curious to learn more about what it's like to live with this rare condition, then I encourage you to watch on. Don't forget to subscribe, and I upload new content every Monday and Thursday afternoon. When it comes to symptoms, I have neck stiffness actually a lot. And this is one of the symptoms that makes me think that this still is a little bit pressure related, especially when the stiffness starts going into my back. When it comes to symptoms that I think kind of more match IIH, I think the neck stiffness definitely is one of them. The neck stiffness feels really strange. It does vary in intensity, so sometimes my neck isn't actually very stiff at all, and other times it feels like I can barely move it. And sometimes the stiffness can get so bad it's actually quite painful. And then there are times that it feels like the stiffness actually radiates into my lower back. This is more annoying than anything to me. Now, I don't know if this is actually what's going on, but this is what it feels like. So, it's a really, really hard thing to describe. When my neck stiffness actually gets really bad, it'll start almost feeling like it's popping or kind of cracking. It is really a weird feeling. This can sometimes feel good, and then other times it can actually feel not so good. Yesterday, when I was actually dealing with a little bit of neck stiffness, actually, no, it was actually quite a lot of neck stiffness. It feels like your brain's gonna basically come out your neck. It is the weirdest feeling in the world. And it does feel like there's extra pressure back there. And I used to not know how to explain this, but when I was first given the term intracranial hypertension, and I'm like, pressure. That's actually a really good definition of how my head actually feels. Like when my mom was asking me before I actually got diagnosed, she's like, "How are you feeling today?" And I said, "My head feels funny." Like it wasn't really hurting, but it just felt weird and I didn't really know how to explain it. Actually, pressure is actually a really, really good descriptor of what this actually feels like. And it's a really, really good descriptor for how the neck stiffness actually feels like. If you ever woken up with a stiff shoulder from sleep, we often call it sleeping wrong or something like that, but this is in the shoulder, so keep in mind this will feel a little bit different. But it is kind of like the muscle stiffness that you get with the if you sleep wrong on your shoulder. It it can feel like a knot, but it's a little bit different too. The best comparison though that I have to something that I've had before pretty much. And other than that, it kind of feels like your joint kind of has to pop and it won't, but usually when it does, like it feels good. Sometimes it feels good, sometimes it doesn't for me. I don't really have anything that's a similar comparison 100% to the neck stiffness, but I guess if I had to, it honestly, the first time I had the neck stiffness, I thought I had slept wrong. So, because it kind of feels like if you were to do this with your head, that you can get rid of it, but it won't go away until it gets to a certain point and then it'll release, but then it'll come right back up again. It's hard giving comparisons when you don't really have much that you can compare to that you've had experience with. The symptom was a little bit scary when I had it the first time, to a certain degree, but honestly, like I said, I thought I had slept wrong, so it didn't really take notice until it didn't get better the next day. Because usually when I get sore or stiff from sleeping wrong, usually you wake up the following day and things are better. But this time it didn't go away. The neck stiffness can actually bother me again at night. So along with the sore spot on my head, which I've already talked about, it can actually bother me at night. Other than causing me pain, it doesn't really seem to interfere all that much. It's not really a terrible symptom. It becomes more annoying than anything after a while. I know that when my neck also gets really, really stiff, it can be really hard for me to turn. Although I generally tend to not turn my head too much or too fast because this will actually make me dizzy. One of the places I have actually noticed this neck stiffness bothering me quite a bit. Now, I haven't been traveling a whole bunch because of how I've been feeling, so this hasn't been too terrible, but I often do take a pillow with me in a vehicle because if I've been sitting up for a really long time, like in a vehicle or something, sometimes the neck can get a little bit sore. Neck pain is just not the same as the neck stiffness, so it's kind of comparing a little bit of two different things. So there's not really much that I do actually to help this. I do sometimes notice it during my workouts, but I try not to do too much with my neck because it actually makes it so that I'm dizzy if I move my neck too much, too fast. That's it for today. If you guys have anything that you would like to add to the video, don't hesitate to drop into the comments down below. Bye everyone!